On tonight's show, we would like to welcome our guest from the shores of England, USK, an actor, allegedly a comedian, allegedly a political activist, allegedly, and a drug addict, womanizing hippie.
Allegedly.
No. Welcome, Russel Brand.
Indubitably charmed, I'm sure.
You've had a long career in the limelight. Stand-up comedian, Hollywood actor, and now you have a news channel, in inverted commas, on YouTube, which has gathered quite the following. You mention frequently that you don't crave fame or fortune anymore, as that doesn't bring true happiness. You want to be left alone and focus on meditation and living for the moment rather than the glory. Since you are being watched daily by millions on YouTube and your recent tour of the U.S., doing interviews on the most popular TV shows in the 330 million population of the USA, how is life now that you are living in the shadows and are at peace now with your past cravings for attention?
Well, me, old mucker. A deluge of transcendentality and fervour, of the frequent yet perpetually nihilistic endeavours of the mind, and indeed the soul creates a measure of hostility in the innumerable consequential etymology of the kind or existentialism that honours, nay, mandates, a reasonable yet objectifying personal glorification that necessitates a well-meaning conglomerate entity such as your own wonderful media empire, Fox News and traditional transpiring demagogues conforming to the monotheistic ritual of transmogrifying a latent yet ordinary vestibule of demonization within the community and humanity as a whole, merged with love, compassion, dereliction of duty for oneself, anti-establishment caramel exuberance that typifies the lambasting of the quintessential self as opposed to the physical reality of the world around us, which, as we all know, doesn't really exist, and things like that, really.
Indeed. I used to dislike you because I thought you were a transvestite with your girly hair and eyeliner. Obviously, you weren't a real man like myself and all of our red-blooded male listeners, but then you changed your appearance to look more Jesus-like and leaned into conspiracies. Then I could relate to you, a trans Jesus, if you will. Although the idea of being trans is ludicrous to me, a trans Jesus unlocks something in my heart. As a true Christian American, that is not gay, to be clear. Is your change of image intentional?
Admittedly, my look is intentional so that you don't see the drug-addled rapscallion of my past self and instead see before you a true person, a true leader of men and a true son of God. Of course, you don't have to believe in me, just believe my bullshit. And my bullshit is just, as I don't actually say anything, I just get the audience riled up about something that never goes into fruition. I don't ever have to be accountable for anything, as I pretend I don't have an opinion as I'm trying to gain as big an audience as possible. You know, be on everyone's side and get them all angry at an invisible entity like the rich, the elites, the hidden people in charge, while I don't actually say anything. I absolve myself of all responsibility by saying I'm only asking questions with the intent of implying a nefarious conclusion whilst giving no attempt to actually look for the answer myself. If I find the answer, it will probably prove my video a waste of time, and I need to get my view count up. Why do you think me fam nails are so clickbaity? I am the most humble and the most opposite of needy person you will ever meet, but like the great philosopher Popeye the Sailor Man once said, "His needs me clicks." And since we are complimenting appearance, Tucker, may I say what a lovely jumper you have on. Exquisitely divine, with your perfectly average man side parting and shiny porcelain teeth.
Thank you for the compliment. And may I return the compliment by reiterating what I said earlier about being an intellectual, great thinker, and philosopher of our time. Maybe on par with the great Popeye, the Sailor Man. So how do you come up with such incredible, mind-blowing revelations like what you said earlier about the rich profiteering from vaccines?
Steady on, Tucker. Your compliments are making me blush. The redness of my cheeks will almost match your exuberant almighty tan of myth and legend. Is that Donald Trump I see before me?
Oh, stop. Your flattery will get you nowhere. I'm blushing now. I just need to start feeling sick and go green and I'll be like a traffic light.
I'll tell you that your daughter has a Muslim boyfriend. That'll make you sick.
Ha, 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 ha. Good one. I would indeed be sick to my stomach. Ha, 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 ha. But seriously, I'm not an anti-Muslim racist. She knows that I would murder her, whatever non-white race she would date.
Okay, back to your question about me being a humble intellectual and great thinker. And what was it? Greatest philosopher of all time?
I think it was great philosopher of our time.
Greatest philosopher of all time. Anyway, what I try to do is look at it from a perspective, from a place of untrust, because obviously they are against us. So we must do the opposite of what they say. They hid the fact that some people had natural immunity so that they could sell their evil vaccine. 99% of people that caught COVID didn't even die. And they hid it from us. Well, we did know that it was a 1% mortality rate from the beginning, but they probably still tried to hide it from us. Probably. Why would we take a vaccine that would make those odds of living a lot better? Also, why would we want to lessen the effects of long COVID when some people, obviously we can't know who, would not even be affected by it? Are we supposed to believe that the people in charge didn't want us to die and didn't want to make money as well? Because it can't be both. You can't want to save lives and make money at the same time. It's either or. We can't believe that they don't want people to die, that they actually care about the world's economy collapsing because of a serious pandemic, and care about their own family getting sick from COVID. So it has to be a big scam. I would rather risk dying and have my loved ones die than take a vaccine, because I would rather that than letting them make a little bit more money that won't make any difference to their lives, as they are already super rich. It's wisdom like that why people flock to me in their millions as a modern-day messiah. Shrewd. That's another word for me. Shrewd and wise.
Incredible. Well, it's nice to have such an intellectual on our side to make us that agree with you feel super intelligent. If you say these things with your big words and English accent, that proves that we are right too. Is there anything you would like to say to our American audience, any helpful insights from across the pond to encourage them and keep fighting the good fight?
Verily, fellow conscious entities, I beseech thee to indulge in the mercurial grandiosity of my loquacious disposition, as I wax lyrical with my prolixity, spewing forth a cascade of superfluous syllables and grandiloquent phrases that belies any semblance of coherence or lucidity. Forsooth, let us partake in the intellectual frivolity of this linguistic romp, whereupon the only objective is to revel in the ostentatious display of vocabulary rather than to convey any cogent message or coherent argument. Let us embrace the maelstrom of words and phrases, unencumbered by the weight of meaning or significance, and bask in the ephemeral glory of linguistic indulgence. Or something like that.
Extraordinary, Russel Brand.